So I guess before I even answer the question as to what they're going through now, I think it is important to set some context for people, because many times when we tell people, oh, the Gaza Strip, when they hear Gaza in the news, they have their own image. In many cases, it is a media spread or propagated image, unfortunately, and the mainstream media hasn't been very good in giving the full story. For people who haven't heard about Gaza, essentially what happened is Gaza is now, there's approximately 2 million, if not more than 2 million people in Gaza. The vast majority of them are actually refugees, internally displaced refugees. And what happened is, in 1948, when Israel established itself on top of an already existing land known as Palestine, which was mentioned in the 1917 British Balfour Declaration, and the Palestinians were named the indigenous people of that land, when that took place, hundreds of thousands, approximately 750,000 Palestinians were ethnically cleansed out of their homes, forced out of their homes. That excludes those who were murdered and the villages that were genocided and were absolutely leveled. And according to the Israeli government at that time, they said there's not a single Israeli village or town that exists today that wasn't built on top of a Palestinian village or town. So that's how you know the magnitude of that event when Israel created itself. So from those 750,000, a lot of them went into internal displacement as refugees all over Palestine. Many went to Gaza. So till this day, you have the majority of the 2 million people tracing back their grandparents all the way back to 1948, when the internal displacement happened. And then many others are formed the Palestinian diaspora, including myself, living in Canada and all over the world, where there's millions of Palestinians living in the diaspora with the international right of return, according to international law, which Israel denies. So that is the context. Now, if you know anything about Gaza, for almost 2 decades now, Gaza has been under a blockade, a siege, whereby they are covered with walls and barbed wire. They are besieged by land, by sea, by air. And furthermore, nothing goes in, nothing goes out without Israel's approval. Electricity turned on and off at Israel's pleasure. So they might only have a couple of hours of electricity a day if Israel allows it. Clean drinking water is very scarce in supply. Unemployment rate is the highest in the world. Over 50% unemployment, and within the youth, over 60% unemployment. It is the most densely populated area in the world, and referred to as the world's largest open-air prison. So just drawing that image, 2 million people, they're not living in Gaza. They are trapped in Gaza. They can't leave if they wanted to. The majority of the youth nowadays in Gaza have never seen life outside of Gaza because they can't. They've only seen destroyed buildings, their house, which might be destroyed soon, and barbed wire and occupation walls. So that is the life in Gaza, and it's only getting worse. So the family members that I have there, and the friends that I know who have family members there, tell us the same thing. It's only getting worse there. Electricity, you never know when it's going to be there. Water, you never know when there's going to be no water. Food, are they going to allow aid in or not this time? Do we have enough in storage? Do we have enough to ration over whatever long this next attack is going to be? And that's just the day-to-day. Never mind every 2 or 3 years, the bombardment that Israel does on Palestine, on Gaza specifically. And as we know, the worst of which was in 2014. And they can't even deliver emergency aid because the bombing is so intense. So even they're like, in previous bombardments on Gaza, we were able to still provide the aid. Now the hospitals are about to shut down because they're being bombed or they're running out of fuel. The ambulances are running out of fuel, so we can't even fill them up, so now we have to manually pick people up. So it's definitely a difficult situation, as is, and then with the bombings, and I think that this bombing they mentioned is worse than all the other ones, because historically, the way the bombings worked, where Israel would drop a small bomb, and that small bomb is the warning that, oh, a big one's about to come in 2 minutes. and it could be at 3 a.m. in the morning, but you hear that small bomb, you're like, oh, gotta pack my life and head out before this building collapses, and then the second bomb comes, so then you might lose 3 family members instead of 10. Now you just lose all 10 because there's no warning bomb.